Have you ever experienced an injury, a nagging tendon issue, a persistent muscle strain, or even gut discomfort and wish that there was a way to genuinely support your body's own powerful healing processes so that you could get back to feeling your best faster? What if I told you that cutting edge research, primarily in animal models, is exploring a specific peptide that shows remarkable promise in promoting tissue repair, calming inflammation, and even protecting the digestive system? That research packed peptide is called BPC 157. And it's exactly what we're digging into today on Holistic Stormcast. Welcome to Holistic Stormcast. I'm Coach Angela. It is absolutely vital to start with a clear disclaimer today. This episode is purely educational and explores the research surrounding BPC 157, which is largely limited to animal studies at this time. I am not a medical professional, and nothing discussed here constitutes medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment recommendations. BPC 157 is not an FDA approved drug for therapeutic use in humans, and its use outside of supervised clinical trials is considered investigational or for research purposes only. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider who is knowledgeable about both your health history and peptide research before considering any new substance, including BPC 157. With that understanding, let's explore what the current research shows. What is BPC 157? First, let's lay the foundation. Peptides are small chains of amino acids. Think of them as specific biological messengers or signaling molecules within the body, instructing cells how to function. One peptide that has generated significant excitement in research community, particularly in musculoskeletal and gut health studies, is BPC 157. Its origin is pretty interesting. BPC stands for Body Protection Compound. This specific peptide is a synthetic analog, meaning it's a lab-created version inspired by a naturally occurring protein found in your stomach or gastric juice. Scientists isolated a specific 15 amino acid sequence, hence it's sometimes called a pentadecapeptide, and stabilized in it to create BPC 157. So this synthetic stability is key to its potential activity when administered. Its extensive animal studies, primarily in rats and mice, and I believe rabbits as well, BPC 157 has shown a wide range of potential benefits. These include supporting rapid tissue repair across various types of muscle, tendon, ligament, bone, reducing inflammatory responses, promoting blood vessel formation, and exerting protective effects, specifically on the gastrointestinal tract. It's these promising findings in research models that have sparked the curiosity and interest in wellness and research circles. So, how BPC 157 works? Based on the findings from laboratory and animal studies, researchers propose several key ways BPC 157 may exert its effects. So, supporting tissue repair. Research indicates BPC 157 can significantly influence the activity of fibroblasts, the cells crucial for synthesizing collagen, the primary structural protein in connective tissues like tendons, ligaments, and skin. Studies show it may influence fibroblast growth and migration to injury sites. It's also thought to potentially upregulate growth factors involved in tissue regeneration, like vascular endothelial growth factor, or VEGF, which is key to creating new blood vessels, and potentially others like basic fibroblast growth factor, BFGF. In animal models, this accelerated healing and has been observed across various injury types, from severed tendons to damaged muscles. Modulating inflammation. Now, unlike simply suppressing inflammation like NSAIDs or the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, BPC 157 appears to modulate or regulate the inflammatory response. Animal studies suggest it can influence the balance of certain pro and anti-inflammatory signaling molecules called cytokines. The idea is that it helps the body progress efficiently through the necessary inflammatory phase to clear damage, and then move more quickly into the resolution and repair phases, potentially reducing prolonged swelling and pain. Improving blood flow, angiogenesis. So one of the consistently reported effects in animal research is BPC 157's potential to promote angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels. By encouraging the growth of tiny capillaries, it can improve circulation to injured areas. So this enhanced blood flow delivers more oxygen, nutrients, and healing factors, while also helping to remove waste products, all of which are vital for accelerating the repair process. Protecting the gut lining. So given its origin, it's not surprising that BPC 157 shows significant potential for gut health. It is remarkably stable in gastric acid, which is why it can be potentially taken orally. In animal studies, it has demonstrated impressive efficacy in healing various types of gut damage, including stomach ulcers induced by NSAIDs, inflammatory bowel disease models, and even fistulas. Its mechanisms here likely involved its anti-inflammatory effects, promotion of blood flow to the gut lining, and potentially influencing the integrity of the gut barrier itself. So what does the research really show? It's crucial to reiterate the context here. While the findings from animal and in vitro or lab cell culture studies on BPC 157 are consistently promising and show low toxicity in those models, there is a significant lack of large-scale, rigorous, peer-reviewed human clinical trials evaluating BPC 157 for therapeutic uses like injury healing or gut disease treatment. What does that mean? We have less certainty about its efficacy, optimal dosing, and safety profiles, specifically in humans. Much of the current human use is based on extrapolation of animal data, anecdotal reports, or small, less rigorous studies. It is not an FDA-approved pharmaceutical drug for any medical condition in the US or a lot of other countries. But when people use BPC 157, they are typically acquiring it as a research chemical or from sources that operate outside of traditional pharmaceutical regulation. This is why consulting a knowledgeable healthcare provider is not just a formality, but a necessity to understand all the risks and the current state of the science. This is a rapidly changing science, right? So we really need to pay attention to all the new findings. Real life example. Understanding that context, let's look at a shared experience from a guy named Mark, who explored BPC 157 for long-standing Achilles tendon pain. Remember, this is one individual's anecdotal account and should not be taken as scientific proof or a guarantee of results. Okay, here was the protocol. So he mixed 250 micrograms of BPC 157 with a small amount of sterile water, and then he properly injected it subcutaneously, meaning just under the skin, near his heel twice a day. The rehab was that he diligently continued his prescribed physical therapy exercises throughout this period. So the result was he reported a noticeable reduction in pain, dropping by about half within 10 days. Within 5 weeks, he felt confident enough to return to light jogging. By 8 weeks, he was able to complete a local 5K fun run without any discomfort, something that he couldn't do for years. Mark's experience is very compelling, but it's essential to place it within the larger picture. This is one data point. It's combined with physical therapy and a lot of other factors. So this highlights the potential people are exploring based on the promising animal research, but it is not a substitute for clinical trial data. Okay, let's discuss how BPC 157 is commonly prepared and used in research or wellness contexts, just based on extrapolations from animal data and anecdotal human reports. Again, this is for educational purposes only and is not medical guidance. All right? Okay. So, preparing a peptide. BPC 157 is typically purchased as a lyophilized or freeze-dried powder in a small little vial. It's commonly containing 5 milligrams, okay? So to use it, you need to reconstitute it by adding sterile bacteriostatic water. This is water with a very small amount of preservative to prevent bacterial growth. A common reconstitution is adding 1 milliliter of bacteriostatic water to a 5 milligram vial. This creates a concentration where you can accurately measure small doses. Once you reconstitute, it must be kept refrigerated at temperatures between 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. It's generally recommended to use it within 30 days after mixing and discard it if it appears cloudy or has any particles. So the injection method is subcutaneous or intramuscular. So this is the most common method. It's believed to offer targeted effects near the injection site as well as systemic benefits. So the doses are commonly used, are commonly ranging from 150 to 375 micrograms per dose. If you reconstituted with 1 milliliter per 5 milligram, 1 milliliter per 5 milligram, 150 micrograms is about 3 units on an insulin syringe, and 375 micrograms is about 7.5 units. So typically administered twice a day is what we're seeing, roughly 12 hours apart. Okay, so some are like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or whatever, So how to inject? Using an insulin syringe, which has a very, very fine needle, you can clean the injection area with alcohol swab. For subcutaneous injection, you pinch a fold of the skin and insert the needle into a fat layer just beneath the skin. For intramuscular, you insert it directly into a muscle. Common sites are near the injury or in fatty tissue like the abdomen or glutes. Always rotate your injection sites to minimize irritation and prevent lipohypertrophy or small lumps. Cycles often last 6 to 12 weeks. They're followed by a break of 4 to 8 weeks. Sometimes people do equal amounts of cycles and breaks. Everybody's different. Do your research. This cycling is partly theoretical. So it's aimed at preventing potential receptor fatigue or downregulation, although specific research on optimal human cycling is very limited here. Document everything and talk to your doctor. The oral method specifically for gut health. Because BPC 157 is stable in stomach acid, it can be taken orally, often in a liquid solution or a capsule form. This method is primarily explored for its potential effects on the digestive system. Doses commonly used range from 100 to 500 micrograms once to twice a day. The timing, it's best taken on an empty stomach at least 30 minutes before food, really to maximize contact with the gut lining and absorption. And as food can sometimes start to push things out of the stomach too quickly, and we want to make sure that you're absorbing properly, right? So similar on-off schedule for the cycle as injections, 6 to 12 weeks on, followed by 4 to 8 weeks off, or equal time frames, just based on the same theoretical rationale. In animal studies, BPC 157 has generally shown a favorable safety profile at relatively high doses compared to those used by humans. The most frequently reported side effects in human anecdotal reports are mild and localized, transient redness, itching, small bruises at injection sites. But while animal data suggests it's well tolerated, the lack of large-scale human trials means that we just don't have comprehensive data on long-term safety, potential drug interactions, or side effects in vulnerable populations. So if you choose to explore this for research purposes, maintaining a detailed journal is critical. Note the date, time, exact dose, method of administration, injection site, if that's applicable, and any subjective changes that you observe in pain, healing, energy, digestion, or any other effects, positive or negative. This journal is invaluable to share with your qualified healthcare provider. Discuss any questions or concerns immediately, particularly if you experience anything beyond mild injection site irritation. They can help to interpret your observations within the context of your overall health and the limited available data. How do we integrate this into a routine? Well, regardless of whether someone chooses to explore BPC 157 for research purposes only, of course, maximizing your body's natural healing potential involves a holistic approach. So to truly support recovery from injury or gut issues, pair any intervention with these fundamental pillars: targeted exercise and rehabilitation. Work closely with a physical therapist or a qualified trainer on the specific stretches, mobility work, and strength training exercises needed to restore function to the injured area. Repair friendly nutrition. Fuel your body with the building blocks that it needs. Focus on adequate protein intake. Consider collagen-rich foods like bone broth, gelatin, or a high-quality collagen supplement. Load up on anti-inflammatory foods like fatty fish, salmon, nuts, seeds, berries, spices like turmeric, ginger, all the good stuff. Stress management. Chronic stress elevates your cortisol, which can impair your healing. Incorporate practices that calm your nervous system, deep breathing exercises, meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, whatever helps you to de-stress. Optimize sleep and hydration. I can't stress this enough. This can't be overstated, really. Your body does a massive amount of repair and regeneration while you sleep. Aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality rest is imperative. Stay well hydrated throughout the day. Water is also very essential for every cellular process, and get your electrolytes. So if after thorough research and consultation with a qualified healthcare professional, you're considering exploring BPC 157 strictly for research purposes, here are potential steps based on the information we've discussed today. First, choose a reliable source. This is a critical step. Given that BPC 157 is not a regulated pharmaceutical, the quality and purity of sources can vary dramatically. It's essential to look for suppliers who provide comprehensive third-party testing certificates, often called certificates of analysis, for purity, identity, and lack of contaminants for each batch. Transparency and verifiable testing are paramount. For my own research purposes, after doing my due diligence on testing and quality, I've chosen to source from a company called Limitless Biotech. They make their third-party testing readily available, which is a key factor for me. Second, consult a professional, non-negotiable, consult a professional. Discuss your research intentions, your dosage plan, and your health history with a healthcare practitioner knowledgeable about peptides and the current research landscape. Plan your cycle. Based on the common protocols discussed, decide on your intended on-off schedule and have your supplies ready. Okay, and journal everything. Maintain that detailed log, the log of administration, your dosage, your timing, your exercise, your nutrition, your sleep, stress levels, all the observed effects, both positive and negative. And on that note of sourcing, because transparency and quality are so important in this space, I have partnered with Limitless Biotech for my listeners who are conducting their own research and have determined that this is an appropriate avenue for them. Limitless Biotech is offering a 15% discount on their research grade peptides. If you're exploring peptides for research use only, and after your own thorough investigation, decide they are a suitable source, you can use a code that I have set up. It's Holistic Storm at checkout on their website for 15% off. HOLISTIC STORM. You can find a direct link to Limitless Biotech on the show notes below for this episode. I must strongly reiterate, though, this offer and any discussion of sourcing is for research use only. BPC 157 is not approved for therapeutic use in humans. Always understand and follow your local regulations regarding research chemicals, and always consult with a qualified healthcare provider before undertaking any personal research protocol involving peptides. So that is our in-depth look at BPC 157, balancing the exciting potential shown in animal research with the necessary caution and context regarding its use in humans. So if you found this episode insightful and valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to Holistic StormCast, share this episode with anyone you think might benefit from understanding the research in this area, and leave us a review on the podcast platform here. Your support helps us bring more research-backed holistic insights to light. So, thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited to continue to explore and research and create new Stormcasts every Friday. But in the meantime, just stay curious, stay grounded in the evidence and the lack thereof. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.